In this video, we're going to take a look at our different print options we have available to us with Keynote on the Mac. This includes how to print slide handouts for your attendees, as well as presenter notes for your presenter. Let's take a look at our different printing options we have in Keynote. Let's go to my Mac. So I'm all set with my presentation here. The next thing that I would like to do is I would like to print this out. Maybe print out each slide, or print out the presenter notes. Print out handouts for the attendees. How do we do that? Well, what we need to do is we just need to go to our print dialog box, and then you're going to see a number of different options. So I'm going to go up to File here in my menu bar, and then we go over to Print. When I select this, we have our print dialog box that opens up, and then from here we have all of our different Keynote options. Now, if you do not see all of this detail, that's because that detail is hidden. You're going to see I have hide details. When I select this, all of those details are hidden. We need to show the details. This is where we can add all of our different options like presenter notes with the detail view. So now what I do is I go back over to Show Details, and now I can see all the details. Now when we're looking at this, you're going to see we have a live preview here. This is a good way of showing if you are printing what you need. This is a live preview. Right now I have it connected to a color printer. That's why this is in color. But when I go to my black and white printer, you're going to see it turns into a black and white preview. So this is a live preview. I'm going to go back over to my color printer. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have Keynote selected. We do have other options here depending on what printer you have connected. So you may see more or less options here depending on the printer. But what we're going to focus on is our Keynote options. When we select Keynote here, it defaults to Slide. With Slide, what we're going to do is print one slide per piece of paper. I have 15 slides in my presentation. If we look here, you're going to see it's going to print 15 slides. And I can see each slide on a piece of paper here. Now, in addition to the slide, we can include other items. When we go down to Slide Layout, I can also use the page margins. I can include presenter notes. I can include slide numbers, as well as comments. If you built this collaborating with someone else, you can build a presentation with someone else, and any comments will be printed. And then I can include the name and date. I'm going to include my presenter notes. And now we can see we have the presenter notes. Again, it is one slide per page though. Now if we want to print more than one slide per page, then what we do is we go over to Grid. With Grid, I'm able to set how many slides per page are printed. Right now it is set for 4. And we can see we have our 4 slides per page. I can set it for as low as 2 slides or as many as 16 slides per page. I'm going to leave it at 4. When we're looking at our grid layout, I can also include the slide numbers and the name and date, but you're going to see it does not include the presenter notes. It does not include any comments. So we have a limited amount of information when we're looking at our grid view. We can also print it out as a handout. When I select this, what I'm able to do is print it out as a handout. This is what I would hand out to the attendees as an example. From here, I can select how many per page again. Right now, it's set for 3, but if I wanted to increase that to 4, I can now see 4 slides per page. I can also include the presenter notes in this view or this print, as well as the slide numbers and the name and date. So when I go to include presenter notes, we can see it's adding the presenter notes. So this would be good to print out for the presenter. And then if you want to print out a copy for attendees as well, just deselect Include presenter notes, and now the attendees can write notes on this. It does not include the presenter notes. We also have an outline. When I select outline, it just gives me a simple outline. We basically have one option. I can include the name and date. In most cases, I believe what people will do is use the grid as well as the handout. Those are probably the 2 most popular from what I've seen. I'm going to go back over to Slide. Now, in addition to our slide layout and the different options we have depending on what we are printing here, we also have these options. These options here do not change depending on what you have selected here. So when I go to Grid, we can still see the same options. I go to Handout, I can still see the same options. The only exception to this is with Outline, I cannot select any options. So what are these different options? Well, what I can do is I can print the slide backgrounds. If you have backgrounds, it's going to print them. If I go and deselect this, you can see that it is not printing the backgrounds there. So when you print a slide and it's not printing the background, in most cases that's because it is set to not print the slide backgrounds. I select this, and now we can see the backgrounds again. I can also print each stage of each build. This would waste a lot of paper, but you can do it if you want to see each stage of each build. And then I can also include skipped slides. If you have any slides that are skipped, you can include those in the printout. And then I can print draft quality images. Maybe you don't need a high quality image. You just want to use draft quality images. You can do that as well. Once you have all of your options set, all you have to do is just click on Print, and it'll print it. If you want to save it as a PDF, you can do that as well. You can go over to PDF here, and then save as a PDF. And then you can email it out as well. So if you want to email your handouts to everyone, instead of printing them out, all you have to do is just save it as a PDF when you have handouts selected here, and it'll save it as a PDF. So those are our different print options we have with Keynote. Basically what we can do is we can print each slide on its own piece of paper, or we can print them in a grid with thumbnails. We can print them in a handout. Depending on what we select, we do have different options. With a slide, we can print out presenter notes. With a handout, we can print out presenter notes. So if you need to print presenter notes, just know that you can print them in slide and handout, but not in grid as an example. In addition to printing them out, you can also save them as a PDF. So those are the different print options we have with Keynote on the Mac.